Welcome back to The Explainer, Pack Alpha. Listen, today we're diving into a crucial, highly tactical briefing on how to actually survive the 2026 synthetic epoch. We are way past laughing at a few weird AI images with extra hands. We're talking about digital predators that perfectly mimic their prey, kind of like the mimic octopus of the deep sea. The rules of digital survival have fundamentally changed, and today we're going to map out your sovereign defense guide. Here's our mission overview for today. We're going to hit the era of the digital mimic, the erosion of truth, dive into the sovereign defense strategy, look at the cryptographic anchor, break down your behavioral fingerprint, and wrap it all up with the identity fortress. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the era of the digital mimic. This is all about industrial-scale deception. Look, digital predators today aren't just fishing for your passwords anymore. They are literally trying to steal your digital existence. So I've got to ask you, how do you spot a fake when the fake is mathematically and visually perfect? In 2026, the human eye is completely obsolete against this level of deception. Seriously, relying on your vision right now is like bringing a magnifying glass to a microscopic fight. It just won't work. To get a handle on this, think about the mimic octopus. Out in the wild, this crazy marine predator survives by seamlessly impersonating other species. It literally changes its shape, its movement, even its texture to deceive threats and catch its prey. Well, 2026 AI systems are doing exactly the same thing. We call it behavioral mimicry. They aren't just copying what your face looks like anymore. They're actually using high-frequency diffusion models to replicate the microscopic blood flow under your skin. They even fake the subtle reflections of light bouncing off your eyes. It's wild. And the scariest part, look at how dirt cheap and commodified this mimicry has become with these synthetic identity packages, or what analysts are calling Frankenstein identities. Criminals will take a real stolen social security number, right? Then they pair it with a completely AI-generated face, a cloned vocal profile, and completely fabricated documents that easily beat optical character recognition systems. And get this, they sell the whole shebang for like $5 to $30. Actually, in just the first quarter of 2026 alone, an escrow network called the Dubai Guarantee facilitated the sale of over 13.2 million of these verified accounts. The barrier to entry for massive industrial fraud is practically zero now. Which brings us to Section 2, the erosion of truth. Because visual trust, it's completely broken. If you're sitting there thinking your bank's facial recognition or video verification is keeping you safe, check out this stat from the 2026 Entrust Identity Fraud Report. 1 in 5. That's right, today, 1 out of every 5 biometric fraud attempts involves deepfake manipulation. The volume is absolutely surging and their tactics are evolving fast. We really need to aggressively dismantle any false sense of security you might have about this right now. So how are they actually bypassing these systems? Well, let's contrast the old way with the new 2026 threat vector. The old way, what we call a physical presentation attack, was just someone holding a 3D mask or a printed photo up to a physical camera lens. Modern systems catch that stuff in their sleep. But today's threat? Digital API injections. The attackers are bypassing your physical camera entirely. They use virtual camera drivers to pipe a perfect bit-for-bit pre-rendered deepfake right into the operating system's verification API. The security software never even sees a real face. It just accepts that synthetic data stream as live video. Traditional camera trust is, well, it's dead. And because of these flawless API injections, we're dealing with a massive crisis of knowing. This introduces a super dangerous psychological phenomenon called the liar's dividend. Here's how it works. When society knows that perfect deepfakes exist, the bad guys can just dismiss real, authentic evidence of their actions by saying, oh, that video is just an AI deepfake. It completely erodes our shared digital reality. It makes visual verification utterly useless for both security and accountability. So, what's the solution? Let's move to Section 3, the sovereign defense strategy and building a zero-trust architecture. I need you to really internalize this core tactical doctrine. Shift your trust away from the human eye and toward mathematical certainty. To be truly sovereign in 2026 means flat-out refusing to rely on visual or audio cues. They are just too easily spoofed. We have got to move away from biological vulnerability and start relying on cryptographic armor. Let's dig into that armor in Section 4, the cryptographic anchor, focusing on FIDO2 failsafes. All right, this is your foundational mechanical defense against remote deception. It relies on completely uncopyable digital DNA. And honestly, the dual-layer mechanics behind FIDO2 passkeys are just beautifully elegant. Here's exactly how you defeat a mimic. Step 1. A public key gets registered on the server. Step 2. When you go to log in, the server sends back a unique cryptographic challenge. And step 3, this is where the magic happens. Your private key, which is physically locked away inside your device's hardware-secure enclave, mathematically signs that challenge. Because of this asymmetrical cryptography, remote credential theft and phishing are literally impossible. Unless the attacker physically steals your phone to solve the math, you are safe. And look, the enterprise world already knows this is the only way forward. Right now, 73% of enterprise sign-in flows have already made the jump to these phishing-resistant, passwordless FIDO2 standards. Passkeys are actively neutralizing those old-school legacy attacks worldwide as we speak. But it doesn't stop at login. Let's look at Section 5, your behavioral fingerprint and continuous authentication. Okay, so you've securely logged in. Now, how does the system know you're actually still the human sitting there? This is a forensic deep dive into how continuous background authentication works. Check out these modalities. First, keystroke dynamics. The system monitors your dwell time and typing cadence to spot if a bot tries to hijack your session midway. Then there's mouse trajectory. It tracks the natural, chaotic, high-entropy jitter of a human hand. That instantly defeats the perfectly straight robotic lines of an automated bot. Device handling actually measures your grip pressure, the angle you're holding your phone, even the natural tremors in your hand. And those physiological markers? They use remote photoplethysmography, RPPG for short, to literally detect the real blood flow in your face. All this continuous tracking maps out your subconscious habits, your unique digital gait, catching those behavioral mimics dead in their tracks. Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 6, the Identity Fortress and Siloed Proof Management. So we've got the mathematical keys, and we've got the continuous tracking. But where does the Pack Alpha actually store and deploy all these cryptographic proofs? You need a centralized, totally malware-resistant command center. Tools like 1Password and Dashlane have basically evolved into these primary fortresses. They manage your proofs in a completely siloed zero-knowledge environment. They integrate directly with secure enclaves like AWS Nitro. So even if your entire operating system gets wrecked by malware, your passkeys stay isolated and completely untouched. Plus, they support interoperable C2PA provenance tracking. That means you can cryptographically sign your own media, making sure nobody can weaponize that liar's dividend against you. This right here is how you completely shut down those API injection takeovers. Which brings us to our final brilliant takeaway for this explainer. Stop being a target and start being a ghost. In this 2026 synthetic epoch, if you're still relying on a password, an SMS text code, or just a standard selfie camera, you are a glowing neon target for the Mimic Octopuses of the digital world. You've got to adopt FIDO2 fail-safes, embrace those behavioral biometrics, and lock down your identity fortress today. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you really going to keep trusting your eyes in a world mathematically designed to deceive them? Or are you ready to become cryptographically invisible? Ensure your defenses are sovereign, Pack Alpha, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.